Future of Violence Prevention, a virtual event highlighting the next chapter of MCSR. My name is Adam Middleton, our digital director, and today we're officially launching our dynamic rebrand with a slate of new programs designed to help set the course for violence prevention locally and nationally. In a few moments, you'll hear from Executive Director Neil Irvin, Deputy Director Rachel Friedman, and RTI International Senior Prevention Researcher Dr. Marnie Khan. We'll get started with a few words about exactly how we've arrived at this point after 25 years of serving communities. Prior to MCSR's founding in 1997, conversations about gender-based violence occurred in passive voice and fueled prevention efforts centered on risk reduction and self-defense tactics. Society had yet to recognize the potential of boys and men as catalysts for positive change, but a growing grassroots effort in the nation's capital would soon shift the paradigm in addressing the epidemic of men's violence against women by focusing on the root cause and establishing primary prevention as the most effective vehicle for progress. The organization, now known as MCSR, pioneered a comprehensive proactive strategy for prevention that engaged boys and men, motivating them to build the knowledge, skills, and abilities to develop fully authentic, healthier, nonviolent selves that continually learn and grow. Today, we call this healthy masculinity and have seen how it inspires boys and men to consistently model the attitudes and behaviors that create healthier relationships, communities, and societies. Just as one example, when we began designing our youth development work, which you'll hear more about in just a moment, to fulfill our mission and create programming, we organized and engaged school-aged boys and young men as leaders in this work. The Men of Strength or MOST Club launched in 2000 at Ballou High School here in Washington, D.C. Unique to the field in both process and purpose, MOST Club quickly became known as an innovative and promising practice, earning early recognition from the National Crime Prevention Council and the Miss Foundation for Women. Based on efficacy and the needs of local youth, our youth serving work expanded a decade later to include a signature program for girls and young women around empowered womanhood, the Women Inspiring Strength and Empowerment, or WISE Club. Reputation and demand propelled a ripple of new clubs across all District of Columbia public schools and beyond, and now groups across the United States have established MOST and WISE clubs as model programs in a broad range of urban, rural, and frontier communities. The clubs, in addition to serving as primary violence prevention programs, have created vital knowledge and attitude shifts and fostered student leadership, shaping healthier school and community climates. With the evolution of those programs as one example, alongside the expansion of our pioneering trainings and consulting services and acclaimed multimedia public education initiatives, we knew when we were coming up on 25 years there was an opportunity and frankly a mandate to evolve our brand. And here we are today. We believe our new name honors the legacy of Men Can Stop Rape and reflects the far-reaching ways we've seen our work grow. Our new mission reflects what we've learned about our ability to curb not only gender-based violence and sexual assault, but all forms of violence. Our new visual identity reimagines the spirit of what we do with a fresh color palette and typeface, and a new illustration at the end of our name meant to celebrate the ripple effect of our mission. This ripple can be traced from the young people we reach in youth development programs, to the train-the-trainer model of our work with professionals and service providers worldwide, to the impact of our public education campaigns and everyday conversations. Our new vision captures why we work so hard for that yet unrealized future, the infinite possibilities of cultures free from violence. Last but not least, we've composed a new value statement to offer a glimpse into our ethos as an organization and our commitment in all that we do to making a positive, measurable impact on the world. And that's why today we're so proud to say we are MCSR, promoting healthy masculinity and empowered womanhood, rooted in community, based in strength, and grounded in respect. And now, to share more about that next chapter, please welcome someone I call boss, but more importantly, mentor and friend, our Executive Director, Neil Irvin.
Thank you so much, Adam. And I feel the exact same way about you. And so it's a great collaboration to really use this moment to celebrate the rebrand of MCSR and our continued commitment for the next 25 years of our work in empowering men to become our best selves, but really expanding to all people in our community to use the products, programs, and services of our organization as an example and a resource for developing the knowledge, skills, and abilities of what healthy masculinity can do as a resource for creating peaceful and productive communities for us all. Unfortunately, as we look back over the last 25 years of our work and look at more recent times in our youth serving work, we are again seeing an increase in all forms of violence, and particularly gun violence, domestic violence, and all sorts of homicides and victimizations that we believe are frankly avoidable. And what we want to continue in our work to recognize that increase, we believe, is a product of dominant stories that restrict people's ability to become our best selves. And so this rebrand for us becomes symbolic of our rededicated commitment to the enduring nature of our mission and vision, the sustainability nature of our programs and services, and to recognize that now in this new day and age that we're in, that means both virtually and in person. We continue to be in urban, rural, and suburban communities across the country doing direct service mentor work with young people and their youth serving professionals, but we also have a very vibrant online training programs and communication process that will enable us to find out what's working, what's missing, and what's needed. We are excited and thrilled that as we continue with our signature Men of Strength Clubs, one of the premier violence prevention programs for boys in the country, that based on this rebrand, we've been positioned to now offer, for the first time ever, we are going to provide 10 locations with the opportunity to participate in our 2-day training, where we will be able to waive the licensing fee that comes with the program and allow staff to learn how to train to establish Men of Strength clubs in their communities. In doing so, we'll find an opportunity to expand the network to even more locations than the 28 states that we currently exist in, and to continue to find and identify leaders, both intergenerational peers and networks that will enable us to be the kind of organization that not only produces leaders, but takes responsibility and accountability for the kind of humanity we want to see in the world that we believe will prevent violence. And in doing this, we know that it's important not just to celebrate our past successes, but to really challenge ourselves to grow and evolve, and why it's so important for us to continue to evaluate all of the programs and products and services we offer to make sure that they are strategically having the impact that we would like to see. And with that, I'd like to introduce RTI's senior researcher, Dr. Marnie Khan.
Well, thanks so much, Neil. Thanks for having me to speak a little bit about our study results. Our study demonstrated a strong need for the MOST Club and that the program had great value and promise for staff and students. We worked with 12 high schools in 4 regions of the United States to evaluate MOST Club. 7 of those schools ran the club, and then the other 5 served as control schools. One of the key findings of our study was that MOST Club was very well received by both staff and students. The facilitators that we spoke with identified a need for students to have a forum to discuss the topics in the MOST Club and develop a sense of belonging. And so the club really met those needs. They noted that the students were deeply engaged and that there were lively conversations during MOST Club sessions. And even though attendance was difficult to maintain during COVID, virtual clubs continued in some schools, and those really provided a valuable space to check in and continue to have important conversations about current events. The student data corroborated these positive findings as well. So of the students who signed up for the study and the clubs at the schools that were offering it, 93% attended at least one session. And the student feedback was extremely positive. The students enjoyed the program, felt that the facilitators were respectful and caring, and believed they would use what they learned in the future. More than 2/3 of the students said that MOST Club was an important part of their lives. And almost 2/3 also said that they would like to continue in the club as a veteran member. The other key finding that I wanted to share from our study is that there are signals that the club messages were taking hold among the club members and their friends. And this is despite the fact that COVID impacted participation in our study at follow-up and our ability to interpret the behavioral outcomes of the program, because students had fewer interpersonal interactions while schools were closed or in hybrid learning. But despite those challenges, we saw that self-perceptions of peer leadership increased among most club members, whereas they decreased among students at the control schools. The friends of club members who we surveyed at the end of the study agreed on average that the club members were leaders among their peers in terms of preventing violence, inequality, and discrimination. Those friends also reported witnessing club members exhibit strong relationship and leadership skills around 3 to 5 times in the past 3 months on average. So this includes behaviors such as explaining why they're upset during a disagreement or standing up for someone who's in a threatening situation. The friends also reported that club members talked with them about topics from the MOST Club, such as masculinity, healthy relationships, and violence prevention. And this happened more than 3 times in the past 3 months on average. So the messages were really starting to be distributed among the peer networks of the club members. These results really show the value of MOST Club in promoting important conversations for young people that extend beyond the club meetings and that can help to create behavioral and cultural changes. Thanks again.
At MCSR, we know that storytelling has the power to connect people and ideas. Much of our work centers around understanding dominant stories of masculinity and womanhood and replacing those with counter stories. While our young people are bombarded daily with negative, harmful, and limiting messages about the dominant story, counter stories are the foundation for developing healthier personal identities, open to more diverse expressions and actions. Counter Stories Productions, our signature arts initiative, builds on our evidence-based youth development programming that engages boys and men as changemakers, leaders, and allies in preventing and ending violence. Through the lens of MOST and WISE Club curricula, MCSR developed Counter Stories Productions to encourage and empower the creativity of young people, establish avenues for sharing their lived experience, and build communications and media-related workforce development skills. Counter Stories Productions creates storytelling opportunities by and for youth by engaging our club members in developing visual, audio, and digital elements that explore solutions for resisting the skewed values and unhealthy expectations of dominant stories about masculinity and womanhood. These have included our award-winning MOST TV series, which was produced, scripted, and directed by MOST Club members, our innovative Counter Stories docuseries, which is hosted by MOST and WISE members and explores the connections between activism and popular culture, and our acclaimed film Nameless, a documentary about child sex trafficking in Washington, D.C. As a part of our commitment to staying current, meeting the needs of young people, and expanding the visual, audio, and digital outlets that youth have access to, we're expanding Counter Stories Productions into podcasting with the launch of Counter Stories, the MCSR podcast, available now on our YouTube channel. Through storytelling, we connect, engage, and learn. We form new ideas and perspectives, create lifelong memories, and inspire exploration. As you engage with our Counter Stories productions, we invite you to celebrate the counter stories that shape you. Thank you.